Hello everybody, this is FsPandaMushroom. Yeah, we've been sort of taken, hijacked, whatever you want to call it. Me and TalkingDonkey have been invited down to AshadowBox and Dr Vesuvius' farm. They crated us up and shipped us off over the pond. Yeah, I'll tell you, it wasn't very nice, journey with that Mr. Donkey. He had some dodgy food. But yeah, it was a long journey. But Mr. Panda, yeah, forgot to press record on the intro. So this is my new intro. So we were invited for a day on the farm. Whoa! With Dr. Vesuvius and AshadowBox. Enjoy.
Well, that was a good afternoon, wasn't it? They serve alcohol in the diner.
Uncle Pete's.
Anyone with a name named Pete serves alcohol, and if that wasn't alcohol, then I don't know what is.
Hey. Shall we go harvest the field now that it's stopped snowing?
Yeah.
Hold on, I think I might need some coffee really quick. Hold on.
Get it to go. We need to, Adam?
Alright.
We need to get this farm on the road.
Saddle up!
I might be able to drive this thing straighter than normal.
Right. Donkey's off already?
Race!
Hardly seems fair.
How strong was that stuff?
I don't know where I'm going.
I don't know where
following.
Donkey went. Donkey's just like, I'm out.
Right, so... Oh, have we all got our beacons on?
I have.
I
Heaven
have
knows
now.
what would happen if we don't have our beacons on.
I have no beacons.
So, we are doing field number 15.
Yeah, Donkey took a detour and he still beat us.
Do
gonna
not
be stuck.
trash during rain or hail.
What? Okay. There we go.
Wrong stuff, this.
Hey,
Oh.
and it begins.
Awesome.
So, Panda, looks like you're on baling duties and I'm on picking up of bales.
Shadowbox, you are on the wrong side.
I know, but I don't want to drive on the crops until I have to.
Ooh.
How did you guys get started playing Farm Simulator? What's the story behind you both?
My story is I started playing Farming Simulator 2009, almost at the release day, because I want to have another game than shooting and like that.
2009, wow.
So I have all the copies in 2009.
You're a real old hand. How about you, Panda?
It's pretty much the same for me. I started 11. The first one was AgriSim that I brought because I thought farming sim was a bit expensive, and when I first looked at it I thought a bit dodgy actually.
Yeah.
11, but it turned out that AgriSim was even dodgier, so I went to 11 because same again, I was getting a bit bored with the shooters, the tour duties and all that lot. So I wanted something different just to calm it down a bit. Get a bit of zen.
Certainly a lot more zen than any of the shooters.
But I'm still rubbish at this anyway, so it don't really matter.
Yeah, but it's a great game, and you know, it's endless game.
Oh yeah, it's a very relaxing game. Sometimes.
Depends on who you have working with you, right?
Oh yeah.
When Donkey hosts the server, nothing is relaxing.
And it is a great game for sort of just being sociable,
Oh, you
Yeah.
get.
working
is.
together and chatting.
You
Yeah,
can't.
we wouldn't be here without this game. I don't think we would do this multiplayer session with a Battlefield or anything else game, you know.
Aw, man, you came so close to making it to the end.
I can reverse it, so you don't have to drive on the crops.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
And I can mess the straw around a little bit here, so it doesn't get too easy.
They don't get complacent.
Well, yeah, you were saying about how it depends on who you're playing with. And,
Yeah. Anybody want to buy a donkey?
He's on sale.
Yeah, he's very cheap. Free to a good home. All he needs is the odd straw bed from time to time.
Deary me.
So how did you guys get involved in farming then?
Well, funnily enough, I got involved with it from seeing a NerdCubed video of Farming Sim 2011. And I just remember thinking, you know, if he actually played the game, instead of just, like, messing around with it, it might be a little bit kind of fun. So I got Farming Simulator 2011, like, right before 2013 came out. So I played Farming Simulator 2011 for like 2 weeks, and then jumped to 2013, and then, yeah.
And as I've said before, I'm only here because he made me play.
Yeah, pretty much. We were doing FSX videos at the time. It was like me and Dr. V and Infinite Lives were kind of like an FSX trio where Infinite Lives was doing FS Passengers and I was doing Air Hauler and Dr. V was just doing his own thing.
Yeah.
And we
Beware,
were
maybe.
not so much collaborating, but more just kind of like encouraging each other and, you know, subscribe to each other and everything. And then I was just like, hey, Dr. V, have you ever tried Farming Simulator? You want to do a collaboration series on it? And as they say, the rest is history.
I was kind of like, no, I don't know, it's a lot of money for a game, I'm not sure I'd enjoy it.
If it goes on sale, I'll get it.
Those were the fatal words. If it goes on sale, I'll maybe get it. And the next day it went on sale for half price. So, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
Or possibly misery. Possibly hysteria. I don't know. But I find it strange the mix of people who are into Farming Simulator. I mean, you get a lot of people who are actually farmers, working sort of the rural areas in real life, who spend a day on the farm and then come home and play Farming Simulator.
Oh, there's quite a lot, especially in the British community.
Yeah.
You sit there listening to some of them going on, and you're thinking, okay, that's a bit more involved than I even understand.
Yeah, and on the other hand, you have you know, citizens living in a big city that haven't even, you know, they don't know what a tractor is, and they don't know where the milk come from, but they play Farming Simulator. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's probably more where I'm coming from. I mean, I come from country people, and My mum and dad were both sort of definite country folk, but I've lived in cities all my life and really don't like the smell of the countryside.
I like the
farming.
smell on the countryside. When I come home to my parents' home, it smells, countryside. When they when they manure the fields, and I sit there. I can only stop there and take the roof down from my convertible and home.
Yes,
You're also a donkey.
Yeah, by the smell of countryside, we mean the smell of poo. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah.
It's strange. It doesn't. That doesn't bother me. It's the human side of that does. But I'm out in the sticks, so to speak. So we get a lot of farming around here, sugar beet and all the rest of it. Yeah. The only thing that winds me up is the tractors on the road go so slow.
Fair enough. In real life, they do seem to go more at Farming Sim 15 speeds than Farming Sim 13.
I have never seen a farmer with a tractor pass a BMW any time before, but in farming it happened. I used to live briefly for about 18 months out in the country, a place near Castle Donington, near Derbyshire, and the worst thing about the drive to work, because it was all on country lanes, which was great because most of the time there'd be no traffic, but every so often you would get stuck behind a herd of cows being moved from one field to another.
Oh yeah, and the milking in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, it's not a pretty sight, a herd of cows from the rear.
You're full, Dr. V.
I am?
Yep.
I thought he was going to say you're full of it. That's not very nice, is it?
Yeah. Okay, I shall get my bearings, and what are we going to do with these? Are we going to take them down for...
just sell them for now. Or actually, maybe keep... Because we have a full stack of 16 straw down at the cows right now. Maybe if we do one more stack down there and save the rest, we'll be okay.
Okay. I'll take one stack down there then.
So who's in charge here? It sounds like AshadowBox.
Yes. He's the master, I'm the serf.
Yeah, I know how you feel. I'm the slave as well.
Well, we started off where I was more or less teaching Dr. V the game. Oh.
But you know
So-
And we still are, to be honest.
Yeah. The main thing is that you have fun, and I always have fun when I play this game.
Yeah.
Apart from when he loses his temper when his G27 don't work and things like that. Yeah, he's always having fun.
But I realize now that it wasn't wrong with my G27, it was only the drive control mode that didn't allow me to drive backwards.
Do either of you guys drive with a steering wheel?
No, I use keyboard and mouse.
I'm actually on a steering wheel right now.
How do you find it balancing on a steering wheel?
It's a lot better than what I had before. I used to use an Xbox controller, and I had a terrible time trying to drive straight with it because it just kept pulling to one side or another. Yes, it actually wound up some of my subscribers as well who complained about the legally driving.
I tried it first when it come out on an Xbox controller and I couldn't get on with it, to be honest.
Well, I found 13 was okay, and it was better for doing sort of small, precise movements, like you're driving around on a field, manoeuvring tightly. As soon as you drive any sort of distance on roads, any sort of speed, it's not as good as keyboard and mouse, I don't think.
I have already pre-ordered if they're gonna release that farming sim steering wheel. I have already pre-ordered it.
Have they announced a release date for it?
No, but you know,
Probably coming out at the same time as the patch.
My local computer shop went to them, and when it comes out, take it home for me.
Cool. Okay, I'm gonna pull off to the side here for a second. I just have to tweak some sound settings really quick. I think the game's kind of overpowering you guys, so just 1 second for me.
He's gonna mute the donkey.
That's not a bad idea.
Everybody talk really quiet. We all talk really quiet like this. Surprise him!
Okay, there we go.
From the server.
User in your channel was banned from the server.
Okay, now I've got a bit of catching up to do with the bales. Oh my.
So how are you guys finding playing, you know, with different people on your Let's Play? Is it funner?
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's still fun when it's just the two of us. But like when we have, when we had Taff on, that was a blast. And from time to time when we have Stevens on, that's really fun too. And now you guys are on. It's it's a good time all around.
I suppose you have to scrape the barrel somewhere, don't you?
Yeah, but that is the main reason why farming is so fun. When you want to relax and like that, you can sit and play on your own with all the mods, horseplay and everything that you want to play along. You don't need, it's funny to be single player too. And on the other side, you have the multiplayer and all the community and everything around the multiplayer. Like me and Panda when we had our multiplayer week, and it was awesome. And
That was fantastic. Yeah.
Just trying to talk Donkey into doing another one, that's the only thing now, you see.
Alright, I'm gonna go unload the tipper. I'll be right back.
So what do you guys think of Farming Sim 15 overall now? Been out for a while, we've got a few mods out for it. Allegedly been some bug fixes, although... Like that.
In my opinion, they have said that they have made bug fixes, but not enough for me to be satisfied. I like the game, but I don't know if everything I compare to is SCS, how they work with their game, Euro Truck Simulator 2. They have a big difference between the two things to make a game. SCS, if they have a problem, they deal with it. And they,
Yes.
they talk to the gamers what they are doing. They have a forum that is open. They have their blog where you can see everything they do with the game, and you can follow through them, and they listen to the audience what they want. And there you have the big difference between Giants and Farming Sim and SCS and Euro Truck.
Yes. As far as if we're just going to compare the base games themselves, I think 15 is an improvement on 13. I do. The biggest complaint that I have with Giants is like what you said, Donkey. It's like they're pushing out more DLCs instead of trying to fix the bugs that are there with the game. Now, granted, they did tackle probably the biggest one, which was the logging not working at all in multiplayer. In my opinion, that should have been done before release, though. You can log at your full Dr. V. You can log in multiplayer now, which is good, but there still needs to be more updates.
Yeah, and failing haven't worked in 11 and not in 13 and not in 15. In some way they have to figure out how they would make it work.
It's like now, and there have been a lot of improvements in the base games. Like you know, on our farm we're using mostly default vehicles, which should say something. You know, in 2013 we used only mods, and I think the vehicles in 2015 are a large improvement over the default vehicles in 2013.
Yeah.
The
dirt skin and the suspension makes a lot of that.
Yeah, the turn signals, the improved graphics, you know, everything. Like it, but at the same time, it's like I really wish they'd focus on more bug fixes. And like I bought their Timber Runner DLC or the IT Runner DLC, the first one that they had out when it was on sale. And then I haven't picked up the JCB pack yet because I don't want to buy another DLC until some more bugs are patched.
Yeah.
It's kind of my own way of protesting.
Oh yeah,
I've got a problem with my patch. I've got to reset it.
Okay.
Apologies for the trailer in the middle of the field.
that's the only thing that, you know, the DLCs are nice, but I think they're too expensive for what they are. I think they've gone off after the money rather than, you know, they've now released 2 DLCs and they're dragging their heels on patching.
Exactly.
And it was so obvious when they released the IT Runner pack, you know. Same day, you know, a few hours before they released that DLC, they released the patch. And people were downloading the patch, and then they released the DLC, and people thought, oh, they have updated the game now, we can buy the DLC, what a fun, and everyone bought the game. And then you realize that they haven't fixed anything.
That first DLC, it was originally on sale for like $15.99 USD. And since then, the price has dropped to $9.99, and then I bought it when it was half off, so I got it for about $5 USD.
Which is about the right price.
Exactly. I mean, $15, no way for that IT Runner pack, but 5 was okay. I might have, like, if they had focused more on bug fixes, I might have gotten it for $10, but that would have to be. Like, I'm not getting the JCB pack at full price, like, regardless.
My advice to most people is, if they're not a JCB fan, wait till it comes on a sale and then buy it. Because what you get for your money is not value for money, in my own opinion.
You know, when you, Panda, if you compare it to what you get in 13, for the DLC, what you get for the money, you know, €9.99 as it was on Giant's page where I buy everything to this game. You know, for that price, before you get the titanium pack and how big it was, that it was a new map and everything. And now you get 2 tractors, 3 front loaders, and you know, what you get for your money.
I could be wrong here, but I think JCB was one of the first people in Britain to introduce crab steer, or what they call crab steer, but yet they never introduced that into the actual DLC. That would have been something awesome.
Yeah.
And you know, one more thing they haven't done that modders can do that I am really annoyed about. When you have forklifts,
locking.
When you want to load like wool pallets, you want to be able to slide the wool pallets in sideways as you can do on a forklift. You know, if you lift it wrong, instead of go backwards and drive forward and put it in place, you can, you know, move your forks on the side and to put them together wider or. You know that. You have modders that can do that. Why cannot the game? Because, you know, most of when you want to do the wool pellets, the in-game forks doesn't fit that good as it could be if you could spread them and like that. But you know, it's details.
Yeah. So I was just, you said wool pallets, so I was checking to see if I needed to take a pallet off the spawn point by the sheet. Still alright.
But you know, as I said, I have played this since 2009, and when you played it for so long, you start to look at small things that can be improved.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they've come a long way in a short time in the game. Personally, I love the game. You know. But yeah. And for 15, they've looked very hard at the modders, what the modders produced in 13, and brought it through into 15.
Yeah, the washable stuff, the turn signals.
Yeah, the animation of the harvesters and all the animations actually. You know,
they did include that Garant slurry mod pack, but they didn't include the hoses and stuff, which is what made that pack so cool.
Yeah. But
in one way, I think they they have to reduce the game because they want to do the game. You know, you can actually run this game on quite small equipped computers, and then you have the issue when they want to bring it to the consoles. They need to have a smaller game because you cannot fit that big games on a disc.
Right. Oh my goodness, speaking of big games, GTA Grand Theft Auto 5 on PC, 60 gigabytes. Oh my goodness, that took me forever to download.
No. Not for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I got it on Steam, so the preload became available. It took me like 2 days to download it.
Steam is sometimes your best friend, but your worst friend, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yes.
It's like, I just want to play it now. I've downloaded it, why can't I play it? I mean, I understand why, but it's just kind of like, if you've allowed us to download it, that means the game is done, so just release the game.
So, if I can put you into a question on your channel, what is your game outside farming? What is your, favorite game outside Farming Simulator?
That's tough. That's either going to be Flight Simulator or Grand Theft Auto, because those are really the only two other games that I play for the most part. Flight Simulator is obviously the other main game that I feature on my channel. But then
I don't know. I have to say, Shadowbox, I really like your movies about Flight Simulator, because I tried, I got that Flight Simulator X Deluxe, or what it's called, when they released that. And on my airplanes, they seems to be, have a magnetic feeling for the ground. I don't know why.
I think that's called gravity.
Yeah.
yeah.
Even if I take I tried a jumbo jet one time. I flew into the take off there, and suddenly the speed went down and I fell into the ground.
I tried to play it once, I think, on a demo, and I couldn't get the damn thing off the ground, so I give up.
Well, you see, guys, you can't use your steering wheels on a plane. Your G27s and stuff aren't going to work with Flight Simulator.
Now I have a Force 3D Pro here. It's on a, joystick.
That's what I was doing wrong. I was flapping my arms too much. That's what it was.
Let's see, what's my other game? I'd probably have to say Minecraft, because that's the game that I play to relax, to hang out with friends.
Yeah, that's true. I play a bit of Minecraft as well.
I try.
Actually, if I should be, I have not really got into Minecraft, but I think that is like Flight Simulator for Panda. It's too complicated for me. I think my game that I have spent almost as much hours as farming sim, it's Euro Truck Simulator 2, and maybe that sounds strange when I don't know if you know that, but I'm a real life truck driver, so I sit and drive a truck, 10 hours, 40 hours a week, and then I can come home and sit 40 hours more and drive Euro Truck Simulator. But that tells you something about the game, that it is, I really like that game because it's really, really, really funny, and I like to support them all in what they're doing with that game.
Yeah, I got Euro Truck Simulator, and I can appreciate it as a game and as a simulator. I just never really got into it very much. However, I'm really looking forward to American Truck Simulator. I enjoy the American style trucks more than the European style, the long hood and tall cabs.
The only thing that is annoying with Euro Truck is when they update the game, it crashes all your mods, so you have to re-download all your mods again.
So do you use modded trucks or just modded maps, or what are some of your favorite mods? Modded trucks and
modded maps, and I use everything. I sit and try mods all the time, and I go all in with my trucks. Download skins and new chassis and all that. Military cargo pack. There is a military cargo pack and a railroad cargo pack where you can drive railroads on a trailer that is 90 tons, and it's really. You take a 360 horsepower truck and try to hold that.
Yeah, that's something that always confused me, was like a rail car on a truck. That doesn't seem possible. It should be the other way around, a truck on a rail car.
Yeah, but they actually do that here in Sweden. They move them around between factories and like that, really big and really heavy. They do that.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I've just never seen that before. I didn't realize that was an actual thing. I thought that was just somebody who goes, you know what, I like trains and I like trucks. Let's put a train on a truck.
And they have took a lot of farming simulator equipment and put that in a cargo pack, so you can actually, take a tractor and haul that from the factory to the farmers.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. That is one thing I wanted to have in this game, who can go to one shop and buy everything.
Yeah.
You go to, like in this game, animals, for me, I would like to buy at the farmer's shop. That would be, I have never seen anyone go to a vehicle shop. I want a tractor, a baler, and 20 cows.
I'm just weaving in between you guys here. Oh.
And guys,
that's not weaving, dude. That's called ramming.
Close.
What? Watch my pipe!
Ooh, that's painful.
I think the audience have to think, what is that talking thing you got into your channel?
Blah. Oh! Ladies and gentlemen, we have the first tree impact of the recording session.
I saw that.
And you cannot cut that away, Vesuvius, because I have it too.
Oh, come on, it's not. That's a Vesuvius video without a tree crash.
Get ready for the rage.
Are you one of those tree huggers?
Constantly wrapping my tractor around the tree. Nope, missed that one.
So what is the biggest thing that you guys miss in Farming Simulator 50? Do you know if Farming Simulator at all as they should, add into the game?
Alternative tipping. The ability to just take your tractor and be like, you know what? I want to make a grain pile here. I really miss that from 2013. As well as there were some really good John Deere tractor mods. We're starting to get some of them now, but just not to the same level. The mods, I feel, have taken off with 15 a lot more quickly than they did with 13. Like, we're only, 6 months into the game, and we're getting, Universal Processing Kit coming out and making, like, tons of add-ons for the game. We've got multi-fruit already. Some really, really excellent maps are starting to come out. Where I think the modding community is starting to get into a groove a lot quicker than they did with 2013.
I think it's because a lot of it was sort of developed to the late end of 13, so it was easier to bring through. But if you look, a lot of the big modders are still not producing, because Giants haven't released the scripture, which they said they were going to do in the next few weeks. But what
One thing I very much missed from Farming 13 that was a mod there is the Ropa pack. The sugar beet, potato harvester, the Euro mouse, and the big bear.
Also the cat pack. Well, that was always a staple for my mod packs.
The cat pack is out.
Yeah, you can get a cat pack.
It's not the same. The cat pack now is just the Kenworth, a couple of tippers, and a liquid tank, and the front end loader. I really missed the what was it? The 980H, the truck with the SWAT body or with the hook lift on it. You could use it for pretty much anything. The big dump truck.
Yeah.
And then the excavator and the low loader. There was just so much good equipment with that cat pack that I really miss.
And one thing I don't like with I don't know if I should shout out that here, but why upload a mod where it is a lot of errors?
Yeah.
And and change color to a tractor and upload that. I don't care if my New Holland is blue or black or red. If I would do that, if I would change color on this harvest, if I would make it yellow, I wouldn't upload that. I would have it yellow for me. That's enough.
Yeah, it's like, though, there are some things like what is it? A Deutz Black Beauty, like that. That's kind of it's like a limited edition tractor paint scheme or whatever. I could see something like that, but just like taking a tractor and saying, hey, this is now paintable, you can pick whatever color you want for it. It's kind of like, I don't really care that much, but some people do. So and that brings me to another thing I really miss from the 2013 mods. Those Ford pickup trucks, the F-350s. Those were incredible. And
the proper Ford pickups.
Yes, and everything that we're getting now, people are saying, hey, this is a Dodge Ram, when they're just taking the Lizard truck that Giants made and making it like a little bit taller with bigger wheels and sticking a Dodge decal on it. It's like, it's true that Lizard truck is very similar to a Dodge Ram, but it's not a Dodge Ram. So stop trying to pass it off as one.
Yeah, and all the reskins. There's a front loader that is maybe a John Deere, and then it comes up as a New Holland, but it looks exactly the same as the John Deere.
Yeah, exactly. Or like that happens a lot with the balers. People will take like the square baler and then just reskin it to match like a John Deere color or to match like a case color. And It's like, don't get me wrong, the skins look nice, but it's not a piece of equipment. It's not a John Deere piece of equipment. It's still the New Holland baler, it just has a different skin on it.
Yeah. One thing I like with this one is the dirt skin, so I try to avoid the stuff with that not have dirt skin when I download mods.
Yeah. Like, I'm testing out, in my single player, I'm testing out this this really nice John Deere tractor pack, but it doesn't get dirty. The only thing that gets dirty is the wheels. So I'm trying to decide if I want to use it or not, just because since like the dirt script is part of the game now, I really want everything to get dirty. I don't want, you know, a tractor to be pulling a cultivator and the cultivator gets absolutely filthy, but the tractor's completely clean. So
Don't say that to Panda, because I have a friend in our multiplayer game without dirt skin, but I tried to get away with that.
I was going to say, finally I've caught up with you guys, but no, I'm full.
The dirtier tractor, the better. Why waste money on a pressure washer? Just let it rain.
Just drive it into the lake if you want to clean it.
Hey, I've done that.
Does that work?
No, it doesn't actually.
I think they get clean if it rains, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And also if you reset it, because in 13, once they brought the dirt skin out, if you reset the tractor, it used to clean it, but it doesn't do it in 15. But sometimes you buy a new bit of equipment, you don't use it, but yet it gets dirty. You noticed that one yet?
When you have it in a shed,
Yeah.
and with the roof on and it stands there, it still gets clean when it starts to rain.
Very leaky sheds.
Donkey Bill.
Yeah, we're
So
definitely
onto
getting more barley off this field than we did canola, Dr. V. I'm on the third
definitely.
tipper.
Definitely. So on to the burning question of the hour.
Hey,
Where
you got panda
did-
cows. Yeah, get rid of them manky brown things. Yeah, hello Daisy. Sorry guys. Just checking. You had to breastbreed.
So where did you guys get your online names from? TalkingDonkey and FsPandaMushroom. I get
Do
the
I
FS
have to
stands...
explain my name?
No, perhaps on second thoughts. Perhaps on second thoughts we get that, Donkey.
I think I've already explained that for almost 2 episodes now. Word.
How about you, Panda? I mean, I get the FS stands for Farming Simulator, because you're very active on the FS UK forums, weren't you?
I was, yeah. But I didn't want the FS in front, to be honest. That was YouTube's fault, because I just wanted FsPandaMushroom, but YouTube wouldn't let me have it, so I had to put the FS in the front of it.
Kind of makes you wonder whether there's another panda mushroom out there.
Some barking
Did we pick
idiot.
the right
probably.
one?
Don't know,
Did
maybe
we
not.
get the right one?
Did we get the right one? Maybe this is the copy.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
This is a duplicate.
So where did the panda mushroom part come from?
Can I say, or do I leave it?
Go on. We're all friends here, just you, me, and
4 different cameras
subscribers.
rolling.
Okay. Well, I like pandas, obviously.
Who doesn't?
Yes. And the mushroom bit is not what you think. Mushrooms are grown in the dark and fed.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know that saying.
So there you go. I'm always fed a lot of interesting stuff. Let's put it that way. So that's where it comes from.
Fair enough.
That's not what you thought it was going to be, is it?
No, can't say it is.
Ah.
There we go. And I'm full. So I'm going to turn that back around on you, Dr. V. Why Dr. Vesuvius, Professor of Pretendology at the University of Unreal Life?
Oh gosh. Right. Yes. Let's see. Dr. Vesuvius actually originates from a superhero role-playing game that I ran, and I'm actually still running now. Actually, we revived it. Called Mutants and Masterminds. A fairly popular game. And one of my players, I sort of challenged him. He was playing as a superhero, obviously, and I challenged him to come up with a master villain for him to be his nemesis. And he basically came up with the name Vesuvius. No details other than that, just the name. And so, okay, I kind of fleshed him out. He got turned into Dr. Vesuvius, who is your basic criminal mastermind type, who also happens to turn into a giant hulking lava monster when he gets angry, a la Hulk style.
Mm-hmm.
And shortly after that, the game company who created the game changed their forums, and everyone had to re-register. So instead of using my real name, I registered as Dr. Vesuvius. And that was kind of the start, and ever since then that's always been my online identity in pretty much everything. So there's loads of forums about different subjects all over the internet that have got a Dr. Vesuvius registered to them.
Yeah.
The rest of it, the Professor of Pretendology at the University of Unreal Life, I originally wanted the channel to be basically more broad and all about all of sort of nerdish stuff, like role-playing games, war games. I just started attending steampunk events as well at the time, and sort of, I wanted it to cover all the dressing up part of that, as well as just games. So I thought, okay, pretendology, kind of the subject. You know, it's all about pretending to be things that you aren't. Like, I'm not a farmer.
I'm not a panda.
You're not a
Well,
panda.
I am really, but you know.
Donkey, I'm full again. Just when I catch you up, I'm full again. Oh, man. Off to unload, right.
We made $20,000 off those bales already, so it's definitely worth it.
We're going.
I got my talking donkey, you know. There is a donkey in a famous cartoon movie that is talking all the time. And now you know where I got my name from. If I should, you know, my friends used to call me talking annoying donkey, but I thought maybe that was too long to put in, you know.
Bit long for YouTube. Here's a thought for you, Donkey. Something I've noticed. Have you noticed how many fairly high-profile YouTubers actually come from Sweden?
No.
I was thinking about it the other day. We've got yourself, obviously.
Qualified YouTubers. No.
Wow. But you know, you've got people like Anderzel, who's fairly big. Robert Z, King of Sweden. Who else is there? This
PewDiePie?
Silver. Thought he was Hungarian. Swedish?
PewDiePie? I don't know. I thought he was Swedish. I don't know. I'm not subscribed to him. I can't stand the guy, but...
Keralis.
Is that the Swedish part of it?
That's why you're not subscribed to my channel.
I know Keralis was born in Poland, but he lives in Sweden. I just thought, what is it about Sweden that seems to make people want to make videos?
I don't know.
Is that the right question to ask about Swedish videos?
Oh yeah, sorry. YouTube videos.
I don't know. One big thing I think with Sweden, you can't avoid. You cannot talk trash about Swedish internet. We've always been front side of internet speed and reliability and like that. So I think that is one way that you can upload a lot of movies every time, and I don't know. Maybe that is a reason.
Maybe that combined with the long winter nights, possibly. Ooh. Anyone else getting lag spikes?
And I always,
I think it's safe.
I used to always hear that when I talk to people outside Sweden and I talk English, I think we, as Swedes, are not like to, talk too good about Swedes, but I think we're quite good at English, A lot of people from Sweden can talk English quite good, so. Yeah, you say, yeah.
Better than me, isn't it?
Yes. Certainly better than some Americans.
Don't know what you're talking about. I talk English good, I pass high school.
Now, do you talk American English or English English?
I speak American English.
What's the difference?
It's just a dialect, that's all. It's not like, like the difference between chips and fries. It's not really much apart from the accent or apart from certain spellings or pronunciations. Aluminum compared to aluminium.
And you drive on the wrong side of the road, yeah. I know.
Yes.
Well, if we want to talk about roads, let's see how many people drive on the left and how many people drive on the right.
It's safer to drive down the middle.
I don't drive at all.
I shun your road rules. When I'm on the road, I'm in a tractor with my hazards on, so it doesn't matter where I am, and then other times I just fly above it. So, there you go.
The other thing that amazes me about, obviously America's so large, is the time zones. That'd do my head in. 3 time zones.
4.
4?
5.
Is it? Oh, right. It's even worse then.
There's East Coast, there's Central, there's Mountain Time, there's Pacific, and then there's Hawaiian. And Alaska falls into a couple in between there as well.
So,
if people asking you what's the time, daytime, what's the time after nighttime?
Yeah, like for me it's 1:30 in the afternoon, but in California it's 10:30 in the morning, and then in Hawaii it's either 7:30 or 8:30 in the morning. I don't remember if it's 2 or 3 hour difference there, but.
So if you go for a flight and you go over 3 time zones, say, have you got 3 different watches on your wrist so you know which?
No, you just set it ahead. I actually used to fly from east to west coast quite a lot because my mom and stepdad lived in Los Angeles, California, and my dad lived in Toledo, Ohio, so that's the Pacific time zone and also the Eastern time zone. So that's a difference of 3 hours. So, when you get on the plane in LA, you just turn your watch 3 hours forward. And you get on the plane in Detroit, you turn your watch 3 hours back.
So sometimes you arrive before you even landed?
Not really, because the flight's like 5 hours. So. I could tell you, though, that I don't remember which way it was, but one direction was always faster than the other because you had a tailwind as opposed to a headwind.
That's because they were flapping their arms quicker.
I will stop.
Flap harder! I missed this. I missed the movie I want to see when I go home.
So, when you first got farming then, did you find it quite hard to get hold of it? Because it wasn't released out in America first, was it?
No, I've always had it on Steam, so I just got it when it came out. I mean, it wasn't like hard to get a hold of. Because obviously I got 2011 like really close to the end of its life cycle, and then I didn't really even notice that 2013 was released until I saw a NerdCubed video on it again. Which he did I think it was pretty shortly after 2013 was released. I don't know, this was like
One thing I wish they could have done, I want them to do as a future thing, is to take back all the old maps that you had. You know, I love the map we have.
Which map? Sorry, you cut out there.
To Swedish internet.
Have we lost the donkey.
God, peace.
Sure,
Sure,
he's
you
still
don't
on
want
the
to buy
server. It's probably just a hardware issue with his mic, I guess. Oh wait, so he can't talk back. So just talk about Donkey.
User in your channel timed out.
Oh, there he goes.
So,
Swedish
great
internet.
Swedish internet, everybody.
Yeah.
Hubris. Hubris is the term. God, isn't it quiet? Really?
See? That's why I want to swap him.
Oh, you say that. You wouldn't change him for the world, would you?
Yeah?
It's the world. You literally just offered Panda the chance to become emperor of the world.
I want to rule the world. Have you never watched the cartoon Pinky and the Brain?
Ah.
What are we doing today, Brain? What we do every day, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
Exactly. And there are other cartoons that are available. So how did you two guys hook up in the first place then?
Well, you know, it was a sleazy bar in Detroit.
I had my beer goggles. Anyway,
Yes,
well, yeah.
hook up is a phrase that means something completely different in American English to British English, I might point out.
I told you I speak American English.
It was flight simulator videos basically. I looked online and I'd seen absolutely nobody doing flight simulator videos that were just playing the game, just flying for the fun of it, talking about it. What everyone seemed to do was, look how beautiful my settings are at 1080p with all these graphics tweaks, and just showing off how realistic the game could get. Or they were like sort of party videos to music. Nobody was doing let's play videos. And so that's why I thought I'd start doing my first videos. And then all of a sudden, I spot two other guys doing exactly the same thing, starting up around the same time. And it was AshadowBox and Infinite Lives. And so we kind of got in touch and said, hey, we're doing the same stuff, great work, keep it up. And we sort of kept in touch. It's like Shadowbox said, it was like the three of us encouraging viewers to watch each other's channels and grind and supporting each other. We never actually got around to flying together, did we?
No, never have.
You know,
And part
I
of that
think
is
with,
because part of that's because Flight Sim multiplayer is just so finicky.
yeah,
Hey, there he is.
have,
Let's see if we can join back down.
we have Flight Sim for Steam now, don't we? And I believe that's got its own multiplayer function.
User in your channel is recording.
There's that great Swedish internet.
It wasn't internet, it was TeamSpeak.
No, it kicked you off the server. It kicked you off the farming server too.
Yeah, it kicked me off TeamSpeak as well. It was TeamSpeak that crashed and made my whole computer crash.
We'll believe
Okay,
you.
we'll go with that. Okay. So you were saying before your TeamSpeak so rudely interrupted you.
What did I say?
I don't know, I wasn't listening.
What was you saying, guys? I don't remember.
We've gone beyond the donkey now, you know. So yeah.
I'm joining the game now.
Well, we haven't missed you.
No.
Hired worker's been doing just as well.
Raider live.
It was still. There we go.
So what made you to start your first series then, Mr. Shadowbox?
Well, actually, my first series ever was Minecraft. And that was on my old channel, which was just called AshadowBox. And that, I don't know, I had a really bad PC at the time, and I was still in high school, so those videos weren't really all that good at all. But then I was also like, you know what, I also play a lot of FSX, so maybe we could do some FSX videos. So I started up a separate channel, which is this one, AshadowBox's FSX. And it just had a lot more, it just got a lot more attention. It quickly surpassed my, my other AshadowBox channel.
Yeah, donkey, turn it off and then turn it back on again.
And, yeah, so I just rolled with FSX. FSX is the earliest computer game that I can remember playing. Well, not FSX, Flight Simulator. I started all the way back Flight Simulator for Windows 95. And it's just something that I've always played ever since. I've always been like, especially with how much flying I've done in my life, you know, as a passenger between Los Angeles and Detroit. It's just I've always had this fascination with airplanes.
So is that any aeroplane or any plane in particular?
Pretty much any airplane. My favorite plane, like my favorite plane type, is executive jets. As far as like civilian stuff goes, so like the Hawker 850 is my favorite, like civilian jet. But I enjoy all forms of aviation. fixed wing, rotor wing, military, civilian, fighter, bomber, passenger liner, private plane. It's all awesome to me.
When I played the game, my favorite airplane was the planes you could land on the sea, because then you don't have to, you know, do a intro flight to a runway that I always miss.
Yeah, the biggest runway of all is the ocean.
Yeah.
Though if you actually tried to land on the ocean, your plane would break up and die. But yeah, those planes are more for ponds and lakes and rivers.
Yeah, and there's them big rubber sharks that are in the water you got to worry about as well.
Yeah.
So is it any one of you that do streams as well?
No, I don't stream. My internet's not good enough to stream.
You've done a guest spot on the Tebras, haven't you?
Yep, that's true. I did. I was invited onto Dare Tiber's farming stream 2 weeks ago. And I used to be on WP Docket's streams fairly frequently, but I actually haven't talked to him recently. I've just been too busy. I've been working 2 jobs for the last year, so between my jobs and trying to do my stuff for my YouTube channel, I don't really have a lot of free time.
No. Yeah, I don't know, Dr. V, if you have played with Docket, but we all have.
Yes, I've played a few times. Good bloke.
We should invite him on
We should.
for our next spot.
I did mention it to him. I don't think he likes Farming Simulator 15.
Yeah, he
awful
does, but he only likes one.
Lot.
map.
And, yeah, he was doing Pleasant Valley, wasn't he?
Yeah.
It was, I had a go on that with him, and it was absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Massive. And the stuff that they've programmed into it is unbelievable. The fact that you're actually sort of building features as part of the game is mind-boggling.
I am on that. I don't think I have ever. One map I have played from start to finish until I owned everything. It was my all-time favorite map for 2013. It was Central Kansas Remade.
Oh my goodness, that map was awesome. I absolutely love that map.
I really, really hope that there is going to be a version for.
Yeah, that's what I did my single player Let's Play on for 2013.